Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. I am Nick Miller and I'm joined by my best good buddy, Mr. John Bunn. John, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thanksgiving has been thanked. My belly is full of turkey and gravy. Life is good. We're into the fall season, moving into the Christmas holiday season. I mean, I can't be mad at all. How was your Thanksgiving? Tell me how much turkey you ate, all that good stuff.
So good. The house has been full. All of the Miller family, my parents, my brothers, and their kids have all come. We're hanging out together. It was a good time. Packed house, full house, but it was good. Had the turkey, had the stuff, watched the football. You know, good
Dude,
American Thanksgiving. Love it.
Could not believe those football scores. Those were crazy. We were not recording this before the football scores had happened. No, I had, we did the family Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then we do a Friendsgiving at the house on Saturday. So we've had the Thanksgiving meal and leftovers and, ham sandwiches and turkey sandwiches. That's the life right now of the American citizen. So it's great. And also, Nick, the life during Thanksgiving starts a little season of, what would we call it? Spending, shopping, sales.
Spending.
Yeah, it's time for Cyber Monday. And I had to throw out some info about our good buddies over at Music Bed. Nick,
Yes.
Music Bed is having its first ever Cyber Monday sale, and today is the last day. Music Bed customers can save 15% of their entire order with coupon code Cyber Monday, all caps, all one word. This limited time sale is not to be missed, but wait, there's more, Nick. Every order placed using the coupon code will receive an exclusive limited edition Music Bed mixtape cassette. That's right. This cassette is not sold in stores and only available while supplies last. So go get it before it's gone. Nick, I'm so excited about this. They've sent me a cassette. It's supposed to be here today. I will put it on our story so you can see it. And if you're not watching on the YouTubes, check out that website. We'll link it over at howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. A very 90s vibe with these cassettes and everything. So
Dude,
really excited about that. And if you don't know who Music Bed is, get out from under the rock, because you need to know who Music Bed is. The best place for licensing your music. Nick,
yes.
What else we got?
Yeah, and also How to Film Weddings, we are having our own little sale as well. We're going about 40% off of everything in our shop. That includes all of our email templates, our all the guides, all this stuff. I blanked and I forgot what we have, but also our website templates and all that. Everything is off. Coupon codes are already automatically applied, so you don't even have to do anything. You head over to howtofilmweddings.com and our stuff is at least 40% off. Some stuff might even be a little bit more off than that. So that's howtofilmweddings.com to check out all of that stuff.
And if you've been eyeing like our website templates, those suckers are, up to $600 for a website template, 40% off of that. Like this is the time of year to be like really digging in on websites and all that stuff. Or if you've been wanting to update your emails or get that posing guide we have, or any of that stuff, this is our biggest sale of the year. And we're going to be, this sale goes all the way through Wednesday. So you got a couple more days to check that out. And it's pretty awesome. It's a great time of year. We've got a lot of good things in there. Check it out, howtofilmweddings.com. Okay, Nick, big episode today. We're moving into like a season of just really digging into teaching and coaching on our podcast. We've had 8 or 9 guests in a row. We love guests. We've got a couple more guests this year, but we really miss being teachers on the podcast. And you've been traveling a lot. I've been traveling a lot. And so with the ebbs and flows of the year, sometimes you and I don't just sit down and walk through a topic. And I'm really excited to talk today. We're going to be kind of wrestling with the question, should you lower your prices? And if you didn't notice, Nick, 2023, which is the year we're in, has been kind of weird, and 2024 for some people is also looking weird. So, Nick, I'll let you kick it off on this whole topic here. Should we lower our prices?
Yeah. And I think that, even coming into 2023. This was a thought that I think a lot of people had been kind of having. Should I lower my prices? My bookings are down. The Whenever people are talking about budgets and stuff, it seems like budgets are lower. The economy is finally catching up to people. It seems. It was with the pandemic year and all that stuff. It was kind of like, well, we pushed off our weddings, we postponed our weddings, and then 2021 was bananas and 2022 was bananas, right? Like we booked a lot, we were making a lot of money, but then it seems like 2023 is the year that a lot of people were pumping on the brakes. And now into 2024, talking to a lot of people, and John, do you get the feeling that it either seems that people are fully booked or they like don't have anything on their calendar? Like aren't these, oh, I'd like to do 20 and I've got 11 booked. It's like, I'd like to do 20 and I have 3, or I'd like to do 20 and I have 25. Like that seems to be kind of the feel that people are in, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's, we get a unique perspective with our brand because, we have listeners from all over the planet in all kinds of different countries and continents. And so different markets are doing different things. But I think you said it right with, that thing that happened in 2020 that we don't like to say the word out loud in case algorithms or we get banned. But that whole thing that was worldwide that slowed everyone down, what we're seeing is that less people were dating during 2020 and less people were dating during 2021. And we had this bubble kind of happen where all these weddings that were going to happen in 2020 got pushed to 2021 and 2022. So everybody was like, this is awesome. Like we have so many weddings in 21 and 2. And then in 2023 this year, it started to slow down because people weren't dating, people weren't out getting married, people are getting engaged. And so we felt that with certain people, and 2024, with especially everything going on in the world, inflation, the economy, people going viral on TikTok on how to save money on weddings, things you could cut out, all these different things have caused a shift in the market. And the market is not just going to naturally, one day a light switch turn back on and okay, great, everybody can start charging a ton more and everybody can start making a ton more. That's not how it's working. Things are uncertain. People are worried about interest rates on houses and bank loans and all this. Like there's a lot of uncertainty. We're coming up into an election year. There's like all kinds of things that make people with their checkbooks say, ew, I'm wondering if I'm going to get married this year. I'm wondering if I just do something small at a national park or something. And so what we have seen, though, is that people are a little more hesitant to drop big prices on their weddings, more hesitant to have bigger weddings. They're worried. And that affects us all, especially now that we're into 2023, into 2024. So some people who haven't done a lot of building with their business and stuff are really starting to feel the pain. And then others who have done a really good job of staying on top of it, they're the ones that we're seeing that are filling their calendars. And what it's doing, Nick, is like if you started your business in 2018 or 19, the getting was good. Like it was pretty easy.
Definitely.
And what it's doing now, and I'm not saying it's like super easy, but what's happening now is that like because it's harder to book weddings and because there are less weddings to be had, the people that are really good at running their business and really good at marketing and networking, those are the people that are going to be winning. And a lot of people are going to go out of business because there's not enough work or they don't know how to get that work. What do you want to add?
Yeah, definitely. And so I think that there's a lot of people that we're talking to that just have that thought in the back of their mind. Is it time to lower my prices? Are my prices too high? Have I outpriced myself from my market or my area? Or, in 2022, when demand was really high and, there was less weddings happening because of, people were willing to pay more money, but now we're on a backside of things. So I'm sure I know there's lots of people out there that have been thinking I'm lowering my prices, or maybe it's time for me to get another job. Like, I don't know if this is happening. And so we today wanted to talk about, is it time to lower your prices? But maybe before we jump into that discussion, Okay, before we say, hey, it's time to lower your prices, yes, you actually should. Like, what are some things that we can tweak? What are some things that we can do and think about before we make that decision to knock 500, 1,000, $2,000 off of our prices so that we can start booking? And the first thing I wanted to talk about is what is your market like in the area that you live in, or the area that you are trying to shoot in, right? It might, this is going to be something that's going to be different to everyone. That's why, people go into our Facebook group or places and they post their videos and like, what do you think I should charge for this? Well, that answer is different depending on where you live in the country. In here in Kansas where I live, you can't locally charge what you could charge in Southern California or Chicago or New York or someplace like that. So it's really hard to gauge and touch on those things. But the thing that you need to do is figure out some research, talk to the people that are in your area and find out what they are charging, and then ask yourself, is that price sustainable for me? Do I want to do that? And if you don't, then you're going to need to make some arrangements. You're going to need to figure some stuff out with your business if you don't want to charge what the quote unquote market value is. John, what do you have to add to that?
Yeah, I think that like on the heels of that, a lot of people are now way more aware of their money. There was this time, like I've been in business long enough to see the recession in 2008 happen. Whenever the real estate bubble bursted, you guys in your 20s just look in your history books, but but like people were a little worried to spend money, and it took years to kind of level out, and there was a new normal after that. And I think that a lot of people sit back and think, well, I used to charge this, or I can't wait till we get back to life how it was pre-pandemic or whatever. And like there's just a different direction that the planet, the world, people are heading because of the pandemic or because of the last few years. And instead of waiting for it to get back to where it was, like you have to be thinking about these kinds of things. And the reason that we're having this conversation is not so that we can scare people or say you should raise your prices or whatever. And but taking a look and really saying, okay, like Nick was saying, my market with where I'm at, where like do like with my bookings, with all this different stuff, should I be heavily considering changing what I offer or changing my prices or changing? And I think about things like that I've seen in our Facebook group. People are finding different ways to get mad at content creators being hired for weddings. I don't know if you've seen this, Nick, but and instead of like, that could be something, it's like you could raise your prices by adding a content creator that comes along and takes videos. Like there's a lot. Go ahead.
There's a lot. I just saw this. I actually, a friend of mine, what she started to do is she started adding content creation onto her packages, and she just got an adapter to go on top of her hot shoe mount that her phone can sit in. So she hits record on her phone and then record on her camera, and she's dual recording. And so now like she's making more money per wedding and giving someone what they want. Anyway, just thinking outside of the box when it comes to working in your area. And instead of getting mad at people for figuring out business, what can you do to succeed in your area?
Yeah. And I think that that's a thing that gets, like, Gary Vee I'm a big fan of Gary Vee for the most part. And one of his things is like, he would say like, he is ready for the next recession because he's a true entrepreneur. He's a true business builder, and all the people that could easily get going, get started and look like an entrepreneur are going to fail the next time something bad happens or the next down season. And he's thriving right now. He's done a good job. And so we want to give you tools to be thriving amidst whatever an economy is doing, whatever, like whatever is going on in the world. You can sit there and say, I know that I am equipped for this. I know that I'm ready. Mm-hmm. And so first step, like Nick said, is looking at your market and saying, is my market in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is that good enough for my prices? Should I change my prices? You're on screen, Nick. Looks like you want to talk. Go ahead.
Well, I thought we were just going to move on to the next point, so I was a little premature in that. So I'm sorry about that. But so looking at your market, right? Like what is your market charging? What's kind of the average? And doing some research and then figuring out again is, do I want to stay here or do I need to look elsewhere? The other thing that you need to do is have an honest look at your brand and your videos and how you present yourself. I think that was one thing that over the last few years that people have really gotten aware of is their branding for themselves and how they want to put themselves out there as a wedding filmmaker, how they want to put themselves out there as a vendor. And so you need to ask, hey, in the last couple of years, I haven't had to worry about having a top-notch brand. I haven't had to worry about having videos that are next level, like, because people just wanted videographers at the wedding and they were willing to pay whatever. Now, whenever people aren't looking to spend as much or they don't want to spend as much, you need to have an honest look at that. Is my brand speaking to the people that I want to speak to? Are my videos connecting with the people that I want to connect with? And I think understanding and knowing those couple of things is going to go a long way on where you are with pricing. And maybe you have outpriced yourself, not because your work isn't quality, but how you've branded yourself, how you've put yourself out there just doesn't match with what's going on.
Yeah. And I think that if you're looking at it, and I don't want to get too geeky, but like on an economic level, like the market has corrected itself a little bit in the wedding industry for like it got inflated pretty bit. Like it was pretty awesome in 2020, like 2019, 2018. Like the getting was good. Like people were spending money. We hadn't had anything go wrong. Like economy was pumping. Everything was great. And so like just now there's been a little bit of a correction, and you might have been catching that wave or have started your business in 2020, 2019, 21. And it's like, I used to charge this much. Well, it's like, well, the value of the entire system might have changed a little bit for you. And then on the other hand, some of you that have done a really good job of like making the right connections and having the right planner network or having the right social media following and, really building your brand, you might be saying, what are you guys talking about, John? Like, Nick, this is crazy. Life is good. I'm charging more than I've ever charged. Like I'm charging more than I ever have in 2024. And it's not on an accident. It's because I've been doing the work to build that brand. Even though we're down in the economy, the clients that I'm working with have the money and want to spend and have a nice wedding still. And so being aware of your market and then taking an honest look, Nick, at your brand and your videos, I think is the next step to, really thinking through like, is this work good enough? Is this the brand? Who do I know? Like taking an honest look at that is going to be a really big step for you.
And then as you're looking at your brand, and you're looking at your videos, the thing that we know and we understand is having really good work isn't enough. Like it's just not enough in our world. And it's not necessarily remember what you know, it's who you know, and more importantly, who knows you. And so you need to take an honest look at your network and how are you connecting with other vendors? How are you connecting with other people? How are you, getting out there and getting your name out there and getting your face out there and getting it so that people know you? And if you're not networking with people in your market or in whatever market you're trying to reach, maybe you're exclusively destination. If you're not networking with those people, I'm just going to guess that unless you're doing something extraordinary, unless you're doing something different, you're probably hurting just a little bit. That's my guess. Like if you've kind of neglected the network side of things and I think that's a potential problem that you're facing.
Yeah. And I know that I've gone through that in certain years, especially with how to film weddings and spending more time working on how to film weddings and moving more into a full-time educational role. I've stopped doing as much networking. I know Nick did, for a year or so there was like, we just kind of focused solely on how to film weddings. And then the next year was a little bit rough. It was like, whoops, we didn't keep putting people into the funnel, keep putting people into our awareness funnel system. So yeah, knowing the networking is really important. And if you're wanting to cycle upward in your business, making more, working, like if you're doing it all on your own, I think we hear network and it's like, oh, I've got to go to meetings and meet planners. Like that's a way to network. I don't know if you've heard of social networking, but that's a thing you could also be really leaning into in 2023 at the end of the year here, or 2024 is like this, getting people exposed to your brand through social media, through viral type videos on your Instagram or on TikTok or on whatever, creating content that speaks to your ideal buyer through different vendors as well as through social networks or paid ads. Like your network, geeky, but your network will determine your net worth. And that's kind of the thing, is like, if all you've had to do so far is just say, oh, I'll put work out there and like people will book me, like it's getting harder to get those bookings. And so you might be scrambling saying, where are all these bookings? And what's happened is that the tide has gone out and everybody that was skinny dipping, you can now see. And so make sure that you're doing these things, putting these things into place to be networking. How are you being known by other people?
Yeah, that's all really, really good. So again, we're talking about knowing your market, taking an honest look at and assessing your brand, their videos, what's your network like. But then, what maybe something that you need to do is figure out a way to get more inquiries. That could be a way. Maybe you're just not getting enough volume. We say, I think when we get started, we get spoiled, and it's like, I had 10 inquiries and 9 people booked with me, and you just think that that's how it's going to be forever and ever. But actually in sales, a really good booking rate for our industry is like 10%. So that's 1 out of 10 is an actually really good booking process. So John, what tips do you have about simply just getting more inquiries? Because that could be a big problem that a lot of people have, is like, people just aren't reaching out to me. What are some practical steps that people can take to help with that sales process and to get more inquiries?
Yeah, I think this flows right along with your network and getting people, like you said, like our friend Elaine at KEJ, has said, like, who knows you? I think it's important to realize that you have to, as a wedding filmmaker, stay in front of the people that you want to stay in front of. Maybe your lane is, I want to go do luxury things. Okay, great. You need to be at Engage, or you need to be at luxury marketing events or in front of wedding planners, or maybe you're like, I want to do adventurous elopements. It's like, okay, well, maybe you need to have videos popping on YouTube or videos on Instagram Reels, and so like getting people to reach out to you equals you getting them exposed to the fact that you exist, and reminding the people that do know that you exist, that you still exist. And if planners, like at this time of the year, I'm updating all my planners that are on my like short list. Hey, 2024 bookings are running out. I just want to let you know, this is kind of the ideal couples that we're looking for. If you have a couple that fits this, this bill, then make sure to consider me and consider what I'm doing. Here's what I offer. Happy to create something custom for you, wedding planner company, and just really making sure they know I still exist, that I still want to work with them, is a way with planners. Or it's just like, what's my social media strategy? How am I getting people to know that I exist through social media? Maybe I need to start running some paid ads on social media. Maybe I need Instagram boosted or posts, or like ads through Meta or whatever. But like, these are the things to me that it's like, you've got to warm people up to the fact that you exist and show them why you are the right fit for them in their wedding. And if you have a vanilla and boring brand, you're not going to stand out anymore. And so those are my basic thoughts for how to get more inquiries. What do you have to add?
Yeah, one thing that I was thinking out, just another thing, simple strategy could be remove your pricing on your website. Like, don't put any pricing on at all. That will cause inquiries to go up. The other thing is limit your inquiry form to only essential information to getting them to reach out. And maybe that's just name, email, wedding date. maybe it's name and wedding date, and you don't really need their email, because if you're having a CRM, it'll track it for you. And I don't know, but whenever you limit the that makes the barrier of entry a lot lower for people, because there are some that will go to your inquiry form and they start writing stuff like, oh, there's like 12 things in here. I'm not, this isn't worth it for me. And then they just bounce because there's so much information. So removing your pricing will, one, increase inquiries, because people will genuinely, reach out because they want to know. On the flip side of that, yes, you will get a lot lower budget inquiries because of that, but you never know what could come through whenever those things come through. And then, you're just going to have to spend some time and sift through that. And now, as we're entering into engagement season, here on Thanksgiving, through Valentine's Day is really, the engagement season. Removing that price, and then also limiting the number of things that you have on your inquiry form is really going to help. And then do your best to try to respond as quickly as possible. Those are ways that hopefully you can get people on the phone or contact through email or however you want to do that. But those would be a different angle of things that you can add, just to currently make changes to your website to get more people in there. So, John, we need to run to an ad real quick of our friends over at Vidflow. Do you have anything you want to add before we share that?
You said ad like 4 times.
I know I did.
I think that, like, practically speaking, like, just really taking inventory is what we're trying to say here. Like, and being self-aware, and then having that mindset of things are different now, and I need to make changes if I'm not happy with where I'm at. I know I saw in our mastermind group, somebody posted saying, hey, I've raised my prices. I've only got one booking since then. Should I be worried? And maybe that's you. And if you're just thinking through, the whole brand, what's your market like, taking a look at your brand and videos, your network, like the sales process, like how do I get more inquiries? If you're thinking about these things now in November, you're going to hopefully be ready by December, January. My last little note is your website. Is it showcasing you in the way that you really want to be showcased? You have to scream at your ideal buyers. You have to not be vanilla. And I mentioned that a minute ago. What does your website say about you? What does your social media say about you? Are you attractive to the people that you want to work with? And I would recommend being comfortable getting out of your comfort zone and asking people to help you look through your website, look through your social media, and give you harsh feedback on, like, does this speak to those persons? So those people. So those persons. Anyway, that's all I have to add. Nick, we can throw it over to a quick note from our good friends over at Vidflow. Do you really want to wow your couples when you deliver their wedding film? Gone are the days of sending over a Dropbox link and calling it good. So what is the best video delivery solution? Vidflow. Vidflow is an online digital gallery where you can completely customize and deliver the experience your couple wants with their wedding film. To make things even better, Vidflow is a pay-per-project service with no large upfront costs or commitment, and you can cancel at any time. Take your wedding film delivery to the next level with Vidflow. Your couples will have access to their gallery on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as through the Vidflow TV app. This completely customizable gallery is so easy and really shows your couples you care. Make it easy for your couple to view and download their films using Vidflow. Each project comes with 10 years of hosting and an experience for couples that will blow them away. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Vidflow and save 20% off a yearly business membership by using promo code HTFW20 at checkout. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way. Deliver using Vidflow.
Man, you do a good ad read, John. You do.
Hey,
you do.
hey, thanks,
you do
man.
great with that.
Well, I really like Vidflow. They're awesome. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying delivering my wedding films with them. You said you'd bring it back, and here I am talking.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. I know my role, and I know your role in my role.
Dude, speaking of roles, Thanksgiving was so awesome. I love me some dinner rolls.
You said, what's your favorite part about Thanksgiving? The bread. The bread is my favorite part, always.
Okay,
Always.
let's like just do a little turn towards Thanksgiving. I need to know, if you're watching this, like, send us a DM on Instagram or like comment below the video. your favorite part about Thanksgiving. For me, I love using my bread as a spoon to eat more bread and gravy and meat. So what I mean is I get dinner rolls.
I love using my bread to be a spoon to eat more bread.
Yes. Like I like getting a dinner roll and getting some stuffing and gravy and turkey on it. And just like the word my grandpa, I'd sop it up. I'd sop up the
Stop
gravy.
it. Stop it.
Dude, I
Just,
love
just
Thanksgiving.
stop it.
I'm so thankful for Thanksgiving. Anyway, hope you're hungry, eating some leftovers. We've been talking about should you lower your prices? What are we thinking?
And
That sort
yeah.
of. So Nick,
Yeah. So let's, we've been talking about your market and your brand and your network and all of those things. And maybe you're like, I've kind of done a look. I've understood and I know where we are as a business, and we need to lower our prices. Like, I don't know how much that is, but let's say that that's the boat that you are in. So the thing that I wanted to kind of take a second to talk through, John, is how should someone handle that? Like, is that, do you shout it from the mountaintops on Instagram? No, now new lower prices, 30% off, and just make a big, what
thought
did
you
I
were
say?
speaking with like a British accent. I thought you went, no, no, no. Like I was like, what is he doing? Come back to me, Nick.
I wish I could talk with a British accent. That would be really, really sweet. But if you're in that place where it's, we're just not making it or something, and I need to lower my prices, how do you handle that? I don't think it's necessarily the best idea in the world to like let everyone know, oh, our prices are lowered, we're dropping them by 500, 1,000, fill in the blank. I don't necessarily think that that's the best idea, but I think there are maybe some good ways that you could handle that you could move forward with that. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that again, it's not a thing to be embarrassed about. It's not a thing to, and we're not saying everyone should be lowering their prices. But if
Hmm.
you do decide like, hey, I need to pull these prices back for a little while until I get a little bit more on the bookings. We talk a lot about knowing your numbers, knowing how many bookings you need for the year, how much money you need to survive. And at the end of the day, you have to put food on the plate, at your table. And maybe it's a good Thanksgiving meal. I don't know. Maybe it's some bread. I'm sorry. I have to go get some leftovers after this. But like you're responsible for you and your family. And at the end of the day, I don't care. Like I love Nick and I care about Nick, but I don't care if he uh, looks at me differently for lowering my prices. I'm not trying to impress Nick with that. I'm taking care of my wife and kids. And so if that's where you're at, like the mindset, I think so to me is like, I'm stopping by here. I'm working through this. I'm not looking at myself as less valuable. I'm not looking, as I've failed or anything, especially what we talked about at the top of the hour, just where the market is and things changing.
Hmm.
I think that like my first thing that I'm thinking about though is like maybe how I could lower the starting offering thing so that it could attract more people. And then letting maybe potentially even people that have inquired with you before that went another way because of pricing, you could even reach out to them, especially if they were in the last month, and just kind of say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm running a special. It's going to be $500 off for the next 3 couples that book me, or something. Like that's where I would start, like with
Hmm.
some kind of a special promo, but not looking too needy, especially to my planner friends or anything like that. But I might be saying, hey, planner, just so you know, I'm running a special right now. If you have any couples that could fit this bill, or photographer, do you know anybody? I'd love to talk to them if they're going to be an awesome
Hmm.
couple. That'd be where I would start. I know that might not
Yeah.
answer your question.
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking about as you were kind of talking through some of this stuff is, um, let's say someone reaches out and your base price is $4,000. Like, this is what I charge. I've been doing this for years, whatever. And they seem to be the perfect couple. And they seem to be a great wedding. It could be a really good one for you to do. And they come back and they say, oh, 3,500 is our max budget. And you're like, well, I'm a $4,000 videographer, therefore I have to pass on you, and I'm not going to do it. And I don't know, I, I know everyone's situation is different and everyone's story is different, and I'm not trying, but I'm saying this: what's better for you where you are right now, to make $0 or $3,500. And I think we always put it in this box of, oh, I make this much for my wedding and I can't take less than that. And I'm not saying that you should lower your prices, but I'm saying if you are in this place of maybe you could really use some bookings, you could really get your name out there, you could really put something out into the world. Maybe the thing that you need to look at is, what is better for me right now in my business and my family? Is it to make $0 on this weekend, or is it to maybe make $500 less than I'd like to make? And whenever you put it in those terms, and again, you want to feed your family, you want to support yourself, you want to continue this life, maybe if the right weddings come along, that's what you should be considering doing, and kind of rethinking about how you are approaching these things. Not, I make this much per wedding, but can I make a little bit less instead of zero? Like having that be your solution rather than, nope, that's too cheap for me. Now,
Yeah. And yeah,
I could
yeah,
rambling with that.
I love it. I love, like, again, and I don't think it needs to be this like massive announcement, like shooting it from or shouting it from the rooftops. You know, it's like, I declare bankruptcy. No, don't pull a Michael Scott and do that. But like being hyper aware of the numbers, how many you need to book, and just kind of what your market is doing. Another way to like get bookings may not be lowering prices, is like throw in a couple of more things into the popular packages that you're offering. Like maybe you're throw in a hard drive for anybody, or raw footage for anybody that books, or a rehearsal dinner coverage for anybody that books, or like you could throw in something extra that costs you more time to get the booking, you know? And so that's kind of the thing, is like, we want to get people to a spot where it's like they're safe for the year. They've got the right amount of bookings. And then that's where you can get a little more like aggressive. Oh, I've got 21 bookings. I only want 24. My bills are paid. Great. I'm going to now bring my prices back up or whatever. But I think your mindset shouldn't be like this defensive, sad, life is tough, take care of me. If, you know, I had to lower my prices, poor me. Like, that's not how I would go about it. I would take a more offensive approach on that. And that's where I think we want to kind of move this conversation for the last half of it here, or last little bit of it, is like, how can you be doing something offense wise? You know, you're the one pushing forward with the ball. You're not waiting for someone to come towards you. You're looking and saying, oh, I have these relationships. I could go connect with these people again. I could not just go ask them if they could throw me a bone, but I could, you know, figure ways to try to take good care of those people and serve them, and, you know, meet up with them or buy them coffee or whatever. It's like, get to know more people, like start really working that. But then also, when talking to the planner that you're having coffee with, you can say, hey, just so you know, like, I've got 5 extra spots right now that I'm really trying to spend, you know, like get booked. If you know anybody, I'd be willing to give them a better rate, or throw in things if you know that they want those things, or things like that. Like, what's offense look like for you? Maybe it's different, but the mindset, I think what you're filtering it through can't be, poor me, life is hard, someone please help me and throw me a bone.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think a lot of people's, natural reaction is to be like, oh, I'm just going to just blame those content creators, right? Like, I'm just going to, that's why, or it's all these new people that have come in and they've undercut the market, or, like all of those kind of things are where people get to and can get defensive. And whenever you start getting defensive and start blaming everyone else, I think that makes it so that you are less likely to do something in your business, because it's easier to say it's everyone else's fault rather than for you to look at yourself and say, like, hey, maybe I'm charging too much for my market, or maybe my brand isn't where it should be, or maybe my network is awful, or maybe how I'm getting back to people is instead of like looking internally. And whenever you look internally, then you get that offensive mindset and you can start moving that direction and be proactive in your business rather than reactive with your business. So, John, I think that this has been helpful. I hope. I mean, I feel good about what we've chatted about here.
Yes, and I like to close kind of before moving on with today's episode, just to mention that, like I said it a little earlier in the episode about like getting people into your funnel. We talked a little bit about this in our workshop last couple weeks ago. We talk about it a lot in our mastermind group, but the idea is you have to work a funnel in your business. And you might be saying, what the heck is that? Well, lucky for you, we've got an episode coming very soon talking about building a funnel in a not a weird businessy geeky way, but like showing you how you actually have a funnel for your business right now, whether you like it or not, whether you're paying for ads or anything like that. You have a funnel for your business that's hopefully paying clients or walking down a funnel. And we want to show you and walk you through that. And we're going to do that here in the next couple of weeks. I think maybe even next week. So be sure to check back on the podcast next week for us to walk through that. And I think that will help you a ton with your bookings and playing offense with your brand, because the people that have built those funnels and done a really good job, they have a full schedule for 2024 already. And we want that for you. So Nick, don't forget. Yeah, I didn't want to forget about that.
Yeah, that's really, really good. As we wrap up today's episode, I did want to, just remind you that we are having basically 40% all of our products on our website. Just go straight to howtofilmweddings.com. Those discounts are already applied. So there you go, John. It has been great to hang out with you today. Thank you so much for talking with me. And I don't have much else. So until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.
Have you ever muted a television show or movie and instantly lost any kind of emotional connection with what was going on? Why is that? Simply put, music and sound are half of the experience, and they are an important part of any audience connecting with any kind of emotion to the characters in a film. MusicBed's curated list of bands, artists, and composers is how we have been able to establish an emotional connection to our audience through our wedding films. Additionally, through MusicBed's incredible roster, I am inspired to create, which elevates the stories I am able to tell. Take your projects and films to the next level with MusicBed. Scan the QR code on screen to listen to our playlist of songs that we have used that have helped us connect our audience to our films. Hear the difference for yourself and sign up for a free account at musicbed.com. Use promo code HTFW23 at checkout to receive 1 month free when you purchase an annual subscription.